critical focus channel.
Hey all, it's time to check out a Warband allowed in from the cold into rotation. It's the Wurmspat who arrives in Spitewood with a fancy new unique war scroll, and they mean business. Let's check it out. They inspire very similar to their old selves when 3 or more enemy fights are slain or damaged, but with the addition of a new mechanic, an individual inspire as well. And that one reads, when an enemy fighter with any bile tokens are slain by a friendly fighter, inspire that fighter. So the first part is all about the damage from any source, and the second individual alternative needs to come from attacks specifically. Ping cards will be your friend here for the general inspire, as relying on successful attacks is always a fickle beast even on elite fighters, so prepare accordingly. Disgustingly resilient next is in truth pretty disgusting, and it is a much better version of the Jaws of Itzel damage reduction. And this triggers on any attack, not only melee attacks, which is probably not intended, but that's how it's written right now. And when you roll a shield, you reduce the damage by 1. And doesn't really matter if the attack has cleave, which would normally nullify the effect of shields in the defense. As long as that symbol turns up, you do reduce damage by 1. So yeah, this stacks with stand fast. And on 2 shields, 5 health inspired, cheating ahead here a bit. This is obviously quite bonkers. Grandfather's gifts next is the bile token shenanigans mentioned in the inspire. Bile blade is weapon ability on a good chunk of your fighter's weapons, and when you opt to use that specific ability, you give the poor enemy fighter a bile token, which is quite horrible in more than its name. And then they get their move debuffed by -2, which is quite debilitating to say the least. This is crazy good control. Say you want to protect a specific fighter from getting charged by the big scary lad, hit them with this, drive them back, and maybe duelist back yourself and leave them dangling with their stubby little legs. My word, that is very good. Do remember, of course, this is a weapon ability, so you have to forego cleave, grievous, etc. But still, from time to time, this is gonna really come in handy. Steady advance next is a once per game push to pick 2 friendly fighters and push each of them 1 hex, and no up to 1 hex nonsense, but it's still very solid, of course. Pushes are key resource, so do use it wisely and not wastefully. Your guys are very slow, as they should be, so this will always come to great use. Nauseous Revulsion is a power step ability, only usable in your power step, but that's also the only timing you would want to use it anyway, and it means that all enemy fighters have -1 attack dice in the next turn, so that goes for every attack in the action step and the power step, because a turn is an action step and a power step. So even if they get to redo an attack or have an out of sequence attack in the power step, everything gets hit by this debuff. Do note, of course, some attacks can't be modified, and those will be unaffected by this. This is both good and thematically cool, of course. Nögleth. The last once per game ability is called Blades of Putrefaction. It also has the timing of using it in your power step, and it gives friendly fighters melee weapons grievous in the next turn. Remember both action step and power step if that should come into effect. Grievous is always great, even if you don't need it to take an opponent down, because you never know when the damage reduction from the stand fast might trigger. Better safe than sorry, right? Everything on this scroll looks really solid, and we might even be in for a nerf on the damage reduction there down the line, not least. Let's check out the fighter cards. Griselda, my love, or I mean Fecula Flyblown. Yes, that's her full name. Use it, cretins. I hate that they removed the full names on the fighter cards, which I've already told you before. Anyways, she is 3 move, 1 shield, 5 wounds, and 3 bounty. She hits from range 1 for 2 hammers, 2 damage with a lovely bile blade ability, because she has forgot to clean her hands after the latest visit to the Nurgle privy. From range 3, she hits for 3 swords, 1 damage with stagger. Inspired, she picks up a second vital shield, not least for the damage reduction, of course. She used to be the odd one out here with only 1 shield inspired, so this is already a huge buff. 2 shields in Emmergard is really good with how crits work especially, and don't work, I guess. She also picks up another hammer on her melee weapon and a 4th sword on her magic attack. Yeah, she looks really good, honestly, even if her uninspired melee attack isn't amazing. Staggering foes with her Nurgle beams before hitting them with one of her trusted bodyguards looks like a decent plan of action. Gulgoch, which sounds like a throat infection, waddles in with 3 move, 1 shield, 5 health, and is worth 2 bounty and hits very accurately from range 1 with 3 hammers, 2 damage, with the Bile Blade ability. Super accurate, already uninspired, he picks up Cleave as well and a second shield. If your victim is already down to getting killed range, having Cleave as a second option is very solid when you don't need the Bile Blade. Good stuff. Sepsimus Plaguesworn finally is a 3 move, 1 shield, 5 health and 2 bounty, and hits from range 1 for 3 swords, 2 damage, without Bile Blade, sadly. From range 2 he hits for 2 hammers, 1 damage, with Bile. I'm not sure how it makes sense that you get a harsher rash from his attacks the further you are from him, but balancing game mechanics isn't always logical, I guess. Inspired, he picks up a second shield just like his homies and takes his range 1 to 4 swords with Brutal and goes to a massive 3 damage without the need for Grievous, while his range 2 picks up a second damage. He actually looks rather subpar uninspired and is by far the one to gain the most from inspiring. So if a global inspire is looking problematic, I guess strive to turn him golden first. He's the least accurate for sure, but with support his range 1 attack is quite tasty. Chuck a hidden aid, accurate and keen eye on him if you can. I don't really think the other guys need it as much, as 3 hammers should already be really solid. The War Scroll can of course take him all the way to 4 damage with the once per game Grievous if you didn't already pick up great strength from your power card deck. He is probably going to be heavily decorated with upgrades come the latter rounds, just like he used to be. As far as decks goes, I would definitely make sure to include some pings regardless where you choose to go, but both Wrack and Ruin and the Cataclysm should have you sorted. Summing it up, these are looking really solid, maybe even too solid for me to enjoy, but if I go on a heavy losing streak, I'll probably make my opponents suffer a bit with these to get back in my groove. Thanks so much for watching, have a great rest of your day, bye. Lastly, a big shout out to all my members that help support my content and makes it so much easier for me to produce multiple videos on a weekly basis. Members do get access to the member Discord, get to influence the content, get early access to a ton of videos, as well as get featured in the monthly painting showcase if they want. Member or not, I dearly appreciate the like, the comment and the subscription.